Wait, I don't. Okay, sorry. Hangout took a little longer than I expected to start.
I hang out.
All right, now we can go. Now we're
Let's
good.
do it one more time. Doing it live. WDWNT on the air is proud to bring to you the last remaining WDWN-Tunes original program. This is Around the Hub. 4 panelists from around the Disney community come here to test their skills in the sport of competitive Disney banner. Points are awarded for well-thought-out ideas, and my God, my room is a mess. Points are deducted at the whim of the host. The panelist with the most points moves on at the end of each round until there's only 2 who will meet up in a face-off to get 30 uninterrupted seconds of meet and greet to talk about whatever Disney topic they would like. Our panel for tonight's show, he is the father of dragons. It's Ben Harris. It's still me. He is live from the hub. It's Eric Lancy.
Hey, everybody.
The Woody Page of Around the Hub. It is Michael. Oh, my God. I forgot Michael's. Batista. Michael Batista.
If I'm the Woody Page, how come you're the one with the old memory?
And finally, last but certainly not least, we don't have any clever nickname. She has Jiminy Cricket on her side. It is Ashley Jasmer.
Hey, everybody.
Look, we can fade the music out and act like we're somewhat professional here. Now I got to turn it back up because there will be more musics. All right. So, welcome to Season 4, Episode 6 of Around the Hub. This season started last year, so that means in an entire year, I've put out 6 episodes. Around the Hub is your source for competitive Disney banter and witty repartee. The game is played by 4, that's debatable, knowledgeable contestants who go through 3 rounds of topics, earning points for well-thought-out ideas and losing them at my whim of the host. Also, since this is our special charity game, you can also donate to give them points, $5 to save them from a round, and then $25 to get them right to the final, $1 per point. Otherwise, there is somebody behind Ben, and it is distracting to me.
That would be my roommate. Wilson, say hi. You're distracting the host.
Hi.
You're existing.
The panelist with the most points moves on in each round, with a loser being sent plummeted into the pit of despair. The panelist with the most points at the end of the game wins their very own meet and greet. There, they get 30 uninterrupted seconds to talk about whatever Disney topic they would like. You've met the panel. You know the rules. Now, let's play Around the Hub. I'm not going to do the music break here. I'll do it the next one. All right, our first round Around the Hub is split into 2 segments. However, sometimes a news story is so big that we need to get to it before we hit the parks, which is why we have a character breakfast. So, find panelists in just a few short words. Don't go too long. In this order, Eric, Ashley, Michael, Ben, what do we all think about bus stop pizza at the All-Star Resorts?
I think it's a big mistake.
All right, Ashley.
I actually completely disagree with Eric and think it's a fantastic idea, especially at those resorts.
At those resorts, Michael.
I think that, again, we've said this before many times, pizza is not exactly the best particular food to have at Disney World. So it's a good idea to have food, not necessarily pizza.
All right, Ben.
I'm still waiting for somebody to spill it on the bus and get it on someone else.
All right, the first point awarded in the character breakfast goes to Michael, and that is totally because of Northeast bias. You guys can't continue to eat pizza in Disney World. It's not okay. Via Napoli. Via Napoli is the one thing. Now, moving... Oh, it's good. Now moving on to our first round, which is divided into 2 segments, the rope drop and the keys to the kingdom. In the rope drop, we focus on the 2 biggest stories of the week, and in keys to the kingdom, we take a quick tour around the entire Disney company with some fast, hard-hitting news. Here in the rope drop, we will cover the expanded festivals at Epcot, as well as the changes coming to... Wow, I didn't put Hong Kong Disneyland in there, but it is Hong Kong Disneyland. See, this is why live is best. All right, Ben, starting with you. Food and Wine is being expanded into August. Simply put, is this a good idea?
I don't see a problem with it. I mean, I think that they are kind of expanding out a bit much, just all over the place with these festivals now, to the point where it's just constantly a festival. Like, I genuinely don't know how many months out of the year I can go to Epcot and not have some sort of festival going on. That being said, though, Food and Wine is the best festival because you get food and wine. This is all good stuff. It's not the Flower and Garden Festival. It's not any of the other butterfly festival. No, those food booths are amazing. I will do anything to get those around more often because they are the tastiest things.
What's the Butterfly Festival?
I think, don't they have like a butterfly tent over by the?
It's during Flower and Garden. Eric, you got a follow up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that expanding Food and Wine, I think that's a problem, just because they're continuing to expand Food and Wine. What I like that they're doing is that they're introducing new festivals. I like that they're going to have this arts festival beginning in January. I think that it's important for Epcot to be known as the Festivals Park, because that's sort of the draw of the park now. And now you don't have to worry about having crazy crowds from the end of September through the beginning of November. You can sort of spread those crowds out over the course of the year, because you're going to have similar types of food. You'll have different experiences, but also they'll be somewhat similar because it's all themed around these different international experiences. So while I don't think they necessarily need to expand Food and Wine, I love that they're continuing to add so that you do have 365 days a year of a festival.
More on those other festivals later. Michael, we're going to go over to you. In addition to the expansion, it's right now, of the Food and Wine Festival, we will be getting the Epcot International Festival of the Arts, a festival, quote, this is from the press release, combining visual, culinary, and performing arts for 6 weekends from January to February. What's your first gut reaction to this, Mike?
My first gut reaction to this, of course, is the whole STEM idea of Epcot gone? The whole idea of science, technology, and World Showcase. But then you realize that it has expanded the definition from STEM to STEAM that actually adds in more arts. And it's another part of that's lost in the whole edutainment process. So really adding in some more interesting arts projects. So things like I would like to see added in whole arts. You could add in a lot of the Japanese black shows. Kabuki theaters. That's what they are.
Interesting.
And you really see where you can get more of the cultural and really expand the environments. You can see more Canada shows. Let's see Shatner ham it up. For the Italian shows, we can see a lot more of the Italian soccer. We'll bring back Off Kilter for Canada.
Yeah, now you're just pandering. Eric, you said you have a point, but it's also going to be your turn, so I'll allow you to add it with this. Your question, and then you can add your follow-up. Which do you think has a bigger impact on the turnstiles, the expansion of Food and Wine or the new International Festival of the Arts?
Right now, in the immediate future, I think that the bigger impact is the expansion of Food and Wine. That's the tried and true. That's what's been proven to work, Food and Wine. I think that adding the new arts festival, I think Michael's view is a little myopic in that, yes, we're not necessarily doing anything right now for the Future World section of Epcot, but Epcot was never built as one singular park. There was always a second part to that part, and it was the World Cultures of the World Showcase. So to continue to add to that, and I think what else that they can do is if they find that there is a booth, that there is an international flair that isn't working, they can change that out, not just year to year, but also season to season. And I like that. I like that if something isn't working, we change it out with something else. And if we find that we want something back, we bring it back. And it doesn't have to be only from September through November. It can be, it works better in the winter months. It works better for Flower and Garden, but doesn't work better with the fall crowds. So I don't see any sort of a problem, but I also think that right now, the most important thing for the turnstiles is absolutely the expansion of Food and Wine. People at Disney World want two things in the fall: free dining and Food and Wine.
Good point. All right, Michael, go ahead with your counterpoint.
Yeah, okay, so you mentioned that it's two different parts, but really, you're just focusing all on the World Showcase. Let's remember, we're getting Guardians at Universe of Energy now. the whole idea of getting science, the whole future world, it's not future anymore. It's just the world.
It hasn't been the future since 1982. That was the future built for 1982. So adding Guardians, while maybe not necessarily is not futuristic in the way that you'd like to see it, it's still something progressing from the 1980s, which Epcot has not done a very good job of. Case in point, when they couldn't bring something back in 2010, what did they bring back? Captain EO.
Listen, we will never say bad things about Captain EO on this show. Captain EO is fantastic.
If you want to bring back something future, bring in some of the new technologies. Like the Imagination Ride is due for a revamp. Get that with the trackless system, and then you can actually have the old Dreamfinder. You really make some more technical advances. What you should do with Future World is make the future there.
We're gonna get a chance to get to that in a little bit. You guys are getting a little fired up and a little off track. We're gonna swing it over to Ashley. Are we headed into a point in time where we have some sort of festival year round in the World Showcase?
I think we definitely are. I mean, I struggle to think of how many, especially with the addition of the Arts Festival. I mean, how many months are there really going to be where there is no festival going on? I think there's maybe a couple months in the summer.
I think the end of February till the beginning of March, and then a couple months in the summer.
So I think with that, now that they are doing festivals every year, I think they need to put a little bit more investment into it. Not so much with the offerings, but I mean the booths. They desperately need more seating. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I mean if you're expanding food and wine out, you obviously know it's a success. And the one thing that people still gripe about is unless you pay extra money, you have trouble finding places to sit and enjoy the foods. And not all of the foods are finger foods anymore that you can walk, and especially if you have a drink, then what do you do?
We saw Tom's giant meal that he had to have. You wouldn't be able to walk around and eat that.
Right. So I think the festivals year round are a great thing. I think they draw people to the World Showcase, and that's always a wonderful thing. But I think it's definitely getting to the point where we need more permanent booths, and they need to put in more seating and things of that nature too to accommodate these festivals.
Mm-hmm. Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, I genuinely think that the putting in permanent booths for a lot of this stuff and adding more seating is just going to cluster up World Showcase a bit.
Interesting.
Because there isn't a ton of space back there. I mean, granted, there is some space nearby, but those footpaths, especially when you're looking at things like the shows at the end of the night, you're going to have to deal with people trying to maneuver around or sit on or stand on, in the worst case, all of these new permanent things sitting in their way.
That's a very, very good point right there. Ashley, coming back.
Well, they still have, 4 or 5 pads that were never used for countries? They could expand back into those and just make a whole big swath of seating that doesn't get in the way of the footpaths.
Wow, that's a really great idea. And then, I mean, if they ever want to develop it, they could actually end up developing it.
And if the countries ever do come in, then you just take out the seating and maybe add a second level. But there's still plenty of room in World Showcase to add in the seating. It doesn't need to be on the footpath.
Mike, quick one.
Yeah, Ashley definitely took the point. There were a lot of other countries that were planned to be shown in World Showcase. There was never the Spain Pavilion. There was never the Israel Pavilion. There is still the space that they can add in these other countries, and then even add in some intellectual property. So Brazil is a popular one to the food and wine. Bring it in and find a way to put in some Emperor's New Groove water ride.
All right, it's completely out of the realm of relevance, but man, that's an awesome idea right there. Eric, make it a full around the hub, but make it quick.
So we are angry that there's a Frozen attraction, but we want to bring in the Emperor's New Groove.
Everyone wants the Emperor's New Groove.
Okay.
Wait,
Actually, I mean, while there is a lot of space, there has been talk, and there will always be talk until there is the resort that is built in the World Showcase that is similar to what the Grand Californian has in DCA. That you will always have a pad that is somewhat dedicated to a resort that is overlooking the inside of World Showcase. So while it sounds like a great idea, but I don't think Disney is in all that much of a hurry. We've heard Tom rail against it before, that there are certain internet bloggers that are perfectly happy, and other guests that are completely happy to set their food on top of a trash can and eat from there. So until that stops, or until people stop buying food at these events, there's no great hurry for them to expand seating or to expand tables. They're just going to continue to expand the menus, and they're going to continue to expand the events.
All right, Eric, we're going to stick with you with this one here. Should there be permanent booths that represent a country or countries having their different cuisines through the seasons?
I think there should be permanent booths that are similar to what you would have with a retail establishment, say at Disney Springs, where they're under a contract, whether it's a lease of 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, but they should be there for the duration. There are certain booths at Food and Wine and now at Flower and Garden that people have fallen in love with, and they want those booths to be there permanently. So you hear these great stories of people that have traveled that have tasted a certain cuisine, but when you go, those booths aren't open because you weren't able to go for that festival. So I think to have certain things like that, it is important to have that, but at the same time, you've got to be careful, because then it's not as special. And we all like to rail against things that have become sort of mainstream because they don't have that special place anymore, because they're not just temporary. They're not the rarity that they once were. But I think Disney's not looking for nerds like us. They're not concerned about us. They're concerned about the general turnstile paying public, and those people want these items and they want them featured all the time.
Yeah, that's a really great point, because people are stupid. Ben, you had a follow-up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know people want them all the time, but if they want them, are they going to necessarily come and get them, though? Because if they can get them at any point in time, then it's not special anymore. It's kind of like, I don't know, the McRib, or if you like those.
No, that's an awesome comparison. You go with it.
It's this terrible sandwich that you wouldn't want all year, but when it comes out, you're like, oh, it's out again. Oh, maybe
I better eat that, because
it's not going to be. So that's what draws people in. If we're talking about turnstile numbers here, that's something that's going to bring people in, is this special event where they can get this one thing that they can't always get. And if that's going to be there all the time, then they can go whenever, and there won't be this drive during the off season, which is why I think they started these festivals in the first place, is to draw people in a time where they wouldn't normally come. And it's worked out great for Epcot so far.
Eric, I see you, but this first round's going a little long, so I'm going to skip you. We'll come back later on. Ashley, is there anything missing from the current festival lineups? Something you would add?
I don't know. I mean, they've pretty well got all their bases covered. I wish there were a way, and I know they do a little bit for international holidays in the specific countries, but I wish there was some way to address those holidays in a bigger way. But I don't know logistically how you would do it in one festival.
I think they're going to try a little bit this year.
Yeah, I think so. But I know they have the storytellers, and people mock them because they're terrible. But and I wish they were better. But I mean, yeah, I think. But as far as the actual festivals go, they pretty well have their bases covered, I think.
All right, Ben, finally on this topic. Oh, you had a point to a follow-up, but I'm just going to end it right here. You can work it into your final question. Finally on this topic, do you see festivals spreading to other parks? Or as Eric said earlier, do you see this as Epcot being the festival park?
So I don't quite know if this is going to migrate to other parks. I mean, it could, but really it feels like this is kind of something that's core to Epcot's identity, is this kind of festival World's Fair atmosphere. But that's something, honestly, that I think is missing from Epcot's lineup is this kind of a World's Fair atmosphere. There isn't anything going on in Future World with these festivals. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit with some of them. They're using the old Life Pavilion, the Wonders of Life Pavilion, but they're not really doing anything in Future World. Let's have a festival for like celebrating the future of people. Like you can have it be food centered, come up with like future food ideas and things like that. There's a bunch of neat new food ideas going on in test kitchens right now. Bring some of that into Epcot, put it in Future World, and put it in a place where it makes sense. Bring in scientists to talk about the future of science and technology and get that going on in Epcot. There's an entire half of the park that's being left out here.
I really enjoyed those points. I was too busy writing, but you definitely earned some points there. Great ideas. We're going to move on to our next topic now, though that was really heated. It took quite a bit of time to get through. To quote Kurt Loder, "You hear it first." Here on WDWNT, that's an MTV reference for you younger generation. We discussed a rumor that Hong Kong Disneyland would replace their castle. Days later, an expansion to the castle was announced along with an Arendelle area and an expanded Marvel presence. Ashley, a castle being completely overhauled is a first for a Disney park. Will we see more of this, or is this just an individual case?
I think it's just an individual case. I mean, let's face it, you can't touch California or Florida. They're the originals.
Correct.
Paris is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Tokyo is fantastic. It's a wonderful take on the Cinderella Castle and the only other one. So no, I think Hong Kong did get a little bit cheated with their castle, and it's probably something they have always wanted to go back and fix. And now with Shanghai coming along and having such a fantastic one, I think it was finally the justification that they needed to go back and fix it and roll it into this expansion.
Eric, many critics feel that the main attraction in Arendelle will be a clone of Frozen Ever After at Epcot. Does this film deserve a better attraction than this in Hong Kong Disneyland?
I think it does. While there isn't anything wrong with the Frozen Ever After attraction in Epcot, let's make no mistake, Maelstrom was never supposed to be an anchor attraction for the park, and essentially Maelstrom got a Frozen overlay. So it's a nice attraction. It's something like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a great attraction. It will even draw people, but it should not be the focus. If they're looking for an anchor attraction for a land, for a realm, for a property, there's some fireworks for everybody. If you're looking for something, something to be a real sort of presence in the park, I think that it should be something better.
That's a great point, and the fireworks with the exclamation point. Ben,
You lost the video.
Oh, Ben, what can we expect from the Marvel attractions announced for the park?
Oh my gosh, I hope it's good things. I'm kind of afraid because I mean we've got the Iron Man experience going on, and that looks really nice. But I'm honestly interested to see what they do with Marvel here. Are they going to just do more Iron Man? Is that going to be all that Disney does for Marvel? Is just Iron Man spamming it out? Or are they going to pick somebody new and do something interesting there? If they pick somebody new, what are they going to do? Captain America? I don't see that really happening there. What are they going to do? I could see maybe like some Thor, some Hulk going on, but I feel like you're starting to kind of drift away from the core of the franchise, which, I mean, from what we saw with Civil War, that's definitely Iron Man and Captain America. So it's going to be really interesting to see where they go with that, what they do with that, if they just clone stuff that they're already doing for Stark Expo and just put it there, or if they come up with new stuff using some of the more fringe characters. And honestly, I'm more excited about the latter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just such a place for Ant-Man in the parks. Michael, for the first time ever, we will have a Universal and Disney attraction opening relatively close to each other, covering the exact same thing, the Avengers. Who do you think will put out the better attraction?
It's going to be the subject matter experts, the people who know Marvel so well. That's part of the reason why the Marvel Cinematic Universe is succeeding. It's because it's being done by the guys who write the comics. So the people who write the comics in the same organization, they're going to be the ones that can really expand the ideas that they give it to him. Imagine a shrinking Ant-Man. Imagine the Sanctum Sanctorum traveling in different parts of the ride. And these are two parts that don't even have a foothold in Universal. Universal just took some of the big ones. There are so many things that there are so many characters that haven't even been touched by Universal yet in the Marvel's universe. So there are plenty of options for them to go. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, the way they are just hitting home run after home run on these movies. And people, nobody expected a Doctor Strange movie to be awesome. Nobody expected Ant-Man to have so much fun. Paul Rudd is just one of the best Marvel Cinematic characters ever. So you really, and look at how much they're trying to put in Guardians of the Galaxy now. And Chris Pratt is just America's new sweetheart.
I do believe his name is actually Burt Macklin, FBI.
No, it's Johnny Karate.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that brings to a close the first segment of our first round. I'm going to give you an update. First, I'm going to say thank you to Cassie for your $25 donation. Does anybody have the music?
Yes, I do. But,
all right, hit it.
It'll take me a little bit to get.
Okay,
going.
well, I'll tally up the scores right now. We see that Eric has 19 points. Ashley has 16 points. Michael, with his passionate, he was in last place, came storming back to take the lead with 21. Ben Harris, 18. Ashley, you are in last with a strong start. Faded a little bit. We will have some more chances for points before elimination here in the second segment of our first round. Michael, can you hit the donation music?
I can, but right now it's just going to pipe up to my headphones.
Oh, okay. Well, then forget it.
There we go. Somebody got
it. Dance break now is over. All right. Welcome to the second. Who's echoing?
Now we have an echo.
Are we back? We're good.
Yeah,
okay.
That's just because I needed to get the
Gotcha. In the second segment of our first round, we take a tour around the entire Disney company as we have the keys to the kingdom. Here, we're going to make some quick points on the news of the Disney Empire. By the way, panelists, I usually tell you this and it gets edited out. No follow-up points in this round. No follow-up points. This is your last chance for points before elimination, and then you can donate to save your butt. All right, Michael, photos and videos of a sorcerer-class bus came out of the Destination D event. While Disney made it clear that this was the only one of its kind, we have seen some of these pie-in-the-sky ideas eventually find their way into reality. What parts of the sorcerer-class bus really intrigue you?
What's really intriguing me is got to be the integrated technology that they're putting on the inside. So what they're doing is that they are using the similar technology that they are using in the small world so that they can read everybody who's coming in and scan their RFIDs. So it's coming to a matter of how much integration do you really want with the magic bands that you're engaging the bus rides. Would they be able to be doing this on a monorail or on one of the boats? Where are they going to be putting the magic band technologies so that they have more interaction between it? You can see somebody has a birthday on the monorail, so everybody sings in the compartment on the monorail.
Yeah, man, I like that idea. That's what I intrigued. That and the lights, because I am actually a small child, and if you don't notice, flashing objects intrigue me. Ashley, since we've last been on the air, Celebrate the Magic has been replaced by Once Upon a Time as a projection show on the castle. What are your thoughts on the new show? Ashley, I think
you're muted.
I don't know why it muted me. Okay. I have not actually seen the show just yet. I've heard very, very good things about it, but since I've heard so many good things about it, I didn't want to watch it until my next trip down there, which makes it kind of hard right now. But here, I know a lot of people were very upset when they heard that Celebrate was going away. And so the fact that Once Upon a Time has already become so loved, it does make me very excited to go and see it. And I think it's probably a phenomenal show. I have not yet heard one bad thing about it.
For those of you who are not like Ashley and don't mind ruining your own surprise, you can check out some awesome video on the WDWNT.com's YouTube page. That's how we plug things, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Ben, in addition to what we've seen, in addition to that, we've seen a drone show. Star Bright Holiday also can be found on the WDWNT YouTube feed. Take flight at Disney Springs. It's a two-part question. What are your opinions of the new show, and what do you see drones doing in the parks in the future?
So I really like this. I think it seems like a really neat idea for Disney. I'm really cool to see, it's going to be really cool to see where they go with this in the future. I I think the show could definitely like get a little bit more into it. Like I remember watching World of Color for the first time, and that show just blew me away. This kind of just blows me away from a technical standpoint, and it looks really cool, and I'm pretty happy with it. But I feel like there could be a little more emotion in it, really, because that's what Disney's best at, is creating experiences that have emotion to them. Going forward, though, what Disney's been pushing a lot for is interactivity. I'm really excited to see what Disney does in terms of interactivity with things. Like we've seen in California Adventure, again with World of Color, the Mickey's Fun Wheel app where you get to play a game and control the colors of the wheel. I'm looking forward to seeing something where I can control the colors of the drones. Like maybe I can actually like play a game with the drones. Like I'm thinking like just Pong in the sky. I've got 2 glowing bars. I'm playing with somebody else in the crowd. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, that's man, that's a great idea. Ben, you're coming up with some great ideas today.
I would love to see that.
This is all before Skynet obviously comes and takes
everything,
and the drones are used to kill us all. Eric, let's go to you. Let's hit up the much maligned Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now, if you can get there before the question is over, you win the game. What do you think of Jingle Bell? Jingle Bam!
I'm on my way. I'm running.
This is the man who ran 10 miles.
Yeah, I know. I should have challenged him to that.
If you were on with me this morning, you would have been with me while we ran 10 miles this morning. Actually, I'm going to see Jingle Bam tomorrow night, and I'm really excited for it. We're doing the dessert party. I like it for a few reasons. One, make no mistake, this is absolutely to placate guests that are spending money and burning a day's admission at Hollywood Studios. This is giving them a reason to come at night. So make no mistake, that's the first thing that this is looking to accomplish. Number 2, what it does so well, because the Star Wars Nighttime Spectacular has been very successful. So to build off of that for the holiday season, you take some of the most beloved sort of iconic Disney animated holiday shorts and films, and you put that into a fireworks and projection show. I mean, who's going to be angry with the 2 elves from Prep and Landing and Mickey's Christmas Carol and Beauty and the Beast Christmas? Who's going to be angry with those sorts of things? And it screams Disney, and it screams Disney holidays. And I think that when you have a park that is lacking so much in substance, giving it anything, especially considering that Osborne Lights is gone, that park. Listen, I've heard talk on the street here in the parks, and people are not happy that there's no Osborne Lights this year. So to have anything in there that sort of gives them a feeling of nostalgia, gives them a feeling of this is what the holidays are about when it comes to Disney, I think it can only help that cause. And Hollywood Studios is suffering right now, so I'm really hoping for this. And based on the reviews so far, it's been well received and it's done really well.
All right, let's head it over to you, Ashley. Magic Band 2.0 is coming soon. How do you feel about the looks and functionality of its new puck design? Ashley, you're muted again, and I don't know why.
Sorry, I think when I try to click over to something else, it mutes it. Anyway, I have mixed emotions about the 2.0. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a little big, and I understand why they had to make it bigger. But I don't necessarily see how it's going to solve a whole heck of a lot as far as, costs with making the bands and everything and sending them out to people for trips, and still not having that option to not get a band when you come because you already have 30 of them. And I just worry about what's going to happen. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be very secure when they first get them, or when you first get them. But what happens, I mean, how long is that going to last? If you keep popping them in and out of different colors, are the bands going to get looser? Are you going to lose the puck? What happens if you lose your puck? I foresee a lot of people losing these tiny little pucks. And I don't know. I think it's going to cause them many more headaches than the current system does. I think if they would have just gone with opting out of being able to get a band every time you come, then that would have been a far simpler way to sort of fix the system of having too many bands on one account.
Ben, you have your hand raised, but there's no follow-up points this round.
They screw in.
They screw
Oh,
in.
they do
They
screw
screw
in.
in.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, that's a valuable point. And you
that is a fair point.
that is interesting. I didn't know that. Where did
I
you
missed
pick that
that.
up? Was that in one of
Yeah.
our articles?
I believe so. Yeah.
Wow.
I just pulled up the article. It wasn't there.
I got to do some more
I-
critical reading.
I picked it up from some news source. They have little screws in the back of the thing, and any accessory you buy comes with a tiny screwdriver that lets you screw
Oh, I
it
did
into
see
whatever
that
accessory.
in our
Okay.
report. I didn't. I thought that was for like batteries. I see. Critical
Yeah.
reading was never a good skill of mine.
But here's my question: what happens if you don't screw it in all the way?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean, think
that's
about
valid.
trying to fix your glasses or something.
Yeah.
Right, that's totally valid. It's not quite pop it in, pop it out. There's a little more hardware
More
involved.
to it.
Yeah.
So at least
Michael-
you're trying.
Michael, I feel bad because you got this question, and I know being from the Northeast, it pains you to talk about Disney pizza. Michael, Pizza Rizzo opened in Hollywood Studios. The food may not be much to write home about, but the decor is getting rave reviews. What Disney movie or property would you like to see get the treatment the Muppets are getting with this restaurant?
Yes, remember, it's critical reading. We're not talking about the food. We're talking about the decor. We're talking about the involvement of the properties in the parks. And what's going on? They're putting in a lot of the external ones. There's all the fights between Marvel. There's all the Star Wars stuff. They're putting all the Pixar things. We gotta get back to some of the more original Disney-created movies that they that they made originally. I mean, we lost the chance to put in Oliver and Company in Streets of America, but let's
That'd been
put
adorable.
that would have been adorable. But let's put in something that is a Disney movie. I want to see there's a little outside the park. Let's see how Moana does in Aulani. That's wow, that
That's
integration.
a great idea.
Yes, let's see. Oh, I don't know, Big Hero 6 in Japan. Let's see Imagination. Inside Out, still Pixar own it, but it's still an internal property that it was made once it was acquired instead of Toy Story when it was fully Pixar. Let's see there are so much more. Let's see more Hercules. Let's see more. Yes, no, what's gotten to Hercules? I would love to see Hades walk around in a park. He was one of the more charismatic villains. Robin Hood walk-arounds aren't there anymore. You're not seeing anything from you're not seeing anything from Atlantis, which was in a pretty good movie.
And we have our first point deduction of the day. I'm going to go ahead and scratch off one of those points, Michael, mentioning Atlantis. What kind of drugs are you on, sir? This is a family-friendly program.
Michael J. Fox drugs.
I mean, those will help cure you from certain diseases. But moving on, Eric, a quick trip over to the TV and film side. We'll cover this more, I'm sure, in Nerd Alert at 10 o'clock tonight. That's how you plug things. The Inhumans will no longer be on the big screen, but on the small screen. What's that mean for the floundering franchise?
You know, with the Inhumans, if it's the beginning of the intro of a great show called Nerd Alert, there's a familiar voice that asks a question: what exactly is an Inhuman? And I have the same question, and I think that because there is that question, and really the answer is it's what you have when you can't get the rights to X-Men. That's why it's going to the small screen. And I think that part of the problem that the MCU now has is that they got the movie rights to Spider-Man. By having the movie rights to Spider-Man, there is now this expectation that somehow there's going to be a deal worked between Fox and Marvel and Sony, and they're going to get the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. And now the Inhumans just aren't as popular. What I think that this does, though, for the Inhumans is a good thing, because if you look, TV has become so much better over the last several years, and we're seeing a lot of smart superhero shows on television. Whether it's from the DC universe or it's from Marvel, we are seeing much better product being displayed on TV, and in some cases better than the film counterparts. So I'm hopeful that this is actually a good thing, that it allows the Inhumans to sort of grow, maybe in the vein of Luke Cage and Daredevil. But I really think that this was all done because Marvel now maybe has a hope that they can get the film rights at least for one of the next Avenger movies, for some some X-Men to be in there, and the Inhumans just aren't as important now.
So, to define what an Inhuman actually is, because I do know, and I need to tell you, it is usually an Atlian. That is not alien or Atlantean. It's an Atlian. It's alien race. And it's people who have been exposed to the Terrigen Mist and survived, and then they get superpowers from it. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's mostly been people who have been exposed to the Terrigen Mist. And we haven't really seen a lot of the very famous Inhumans, so I'm sure Black Bolt has to be coming around, which is really upsetting because if Vin Diesel was rumored to play him, he would be perfect, and it's funny because he only uses his voice as Groot, and Black Bolt doesn't use his voice. So moving on to past my nerdy diatribe there, and again, Nerd Alert, 10 o'clock tonight, and then we'll be beating up on Jedi Hero Princess once again at 11. Ben, last question of this round to you. When will the live-action remake stop, and should they?
Yes. They really should. You're putting effort into non-original properties. You're going to run out. It's a fact. Unless you start remaking your remakes as the... I don't even know what you would do there. Would you make a live-action remake of your live-action remake, or would you go full circle and just make an animated version again? It's like, please stop. Like, if you want to do a few more of these, okay, fine. Beauty and the Beast looks nice. I am okay with this. But don't just depend on this. This well will eventually run dry. You're running on a limited resource here, and the only energy we have an infinite amount of is our brain power, and we need to use it. We need to come up with some new stuff. We need to get some original properties out there, and we need to spend some money on that, not just on rehashing the same old stories that we've been telling over and over again already.
Yeah, and I think it's been hit or miss with the live action. Some have gotten some really great reviews, others have not. So as we look at the scoreboard right now, Eric has jumped into the lead, which is unfortunate because we can't get him to give us any of his money. However, other panelists, there is a chance for you. Michael, you are in second place and safe with 29 points. Ben and Ashley, 2 points separate you. Ashley, you are in last with 26 points. $3 donation, Ashley, will move you on to the next round. Ben, you have 28. Ashley, 26. So I will give you guys a few seconds to see if you can reach into your wallet for the tots, or if any of the fans want to help you out. We'll just go ahead and click that donate button over there. As I mentioned, I'll be on Nerd Alert later tonight at 10 o'clock. I'll also be doing WDWNT Pyramid and WDWNT The Match Game as per usual. Oh, I need lots of scrap paper for that, I just realized. So we'll be checking the tally board here and see if anybody has
came through.
Ashley came through with $15. That puts Ashley in the lead.
If I'm gonna donate, I'm gonna win.
Heck yeah, you're gonna donate. That's the way we do things here. It's for the tots. So that gives Ashley 41 points, Eric 30, Michael 29. Where's your mommy now, Ben Harris? All right, that means barring any last-minute donations by Ben's mom or Ben himself or a fan who really likes Ben Harris will be headed into the pit of despair. I'm going to hit refresh one more time. No, Ben, you are going into the pit of despair. Any final words?
Well, it's been fun as always. Pleasure to be back on the show. Hopefully you'll be having this a little bit more often.
All right. It doesn't help that you can see me easing down the volume over there. In a startling turn of events, Ashley will be kicking off our second round. We play one of our original games, Hit, Miss, or Meh, covering all 45 years of the Walt Disney World Resort. Our contestants will tell us whether something has been a hit, a success, a miss, a failure, or a meh, somewhere in between. Ashley, you're leading us off. You have an 11-point lead. That was very well earned. Thank you for that donation. So, hit, miss, or meh, New Fantasyland.
I think it's absolutely a hit. It's done a lot for the park. It's expanded. It's beautiful. I know Be Our Guest started out strong, and hopefully it'll turn back around. I know it's gotten a little weaker, a little complacent, I think. But I think overall it's great. The one thing I do wish that they had done is I wish they had kept with the Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella houses. I think that would have been great. I think Mine Train is wonderful, but I wish they could have found a way to fit all of them in there. Because I think especially with it being Cinderella's castle there, I wish she had a stronger representation in the park. I think she definitely deserves one. But yeah, that's
Wait, I don't mean to interrupt, but did you say Cinderella needs a stronger representation in
well,
the
not
park?
a stronger representation, but
I don't disagree with her.
Why can't
Yeah.
The castle?
she needs? Yes, but you
Yeah,
can't
and then
have
Elsa comes and takes over her castle, puts all these lights on it.
which
She's
still
been
makes
kicked
me
out.
angry.
She's
Yeah.
been kicked
Cinderella
out.
too. Cinderella fights
Right.
back.
So she now has to share her castle. She should at least be able to go hang out in her cottage.
Yeah, everybody's always coming in and out of her castle. And they don't, even the carousel's not named after her anymore. They gave it to her
Right,
husband.
they took away her carousel too.
Yeah,
And they just put shows out in front of her castle.
yeah. She's trying to sleep. There's people, fireworks going off. Tinkerbell's in there somehow. You don't know where she's been.
It's not like Sleeping Beauty's castle where she can get some sleep.
Yeah, they just have dinner services in her castle. There's other rooms there. So something tragic has happened. Eric has decided that charity will win the day as per
That's right.
usual.
That's right.
Eric has given a $50 donation, which means Eric now has 80 points, and he is guaranteed a spot in the final. So good luck, Michael and Ashley.
I don't lose this weekend.
How many points do I need?
Well, just wait and see. All right, so we'll move on to Eric. Hit, miss, or meh. Building on your ginormous lead. New Fantasyland.
Well, and first, be careful if you're looking to donate, because that Disney Chase Visa's got a nice limit on it. So I don't lose this weekend. It's an absolute hit for me. I agree with Ashley that I would have loved to have seen the Princess Cottages because they were supposed to be. I mean, if you just listen to the concepts of them, they were going to be outstanding. But I don't think that we were shortchanged at all. Especially considering that they were looking to diversify the land a little bit so that it didn't just appeal to princesses, but that it also appealed to boys as well. I think that the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I know that it took a long time to build, but it is a hit beyond hit. I love that it is the combination coaster and dark ride. I think that I would have loved to have seen a greater expansion, even with Beauty and the Beast and Gaston's Tavern to have been the unhappy hour, like it was originally said. We can dream about what could have been, but I think that they've done. The only miss I think in New Fantasyland was that they moved Dumbo back so far that it now has become sort of just inconsequential in the parks. It's no longer self-regulating because there's really not much that needs to be done with it. You've got dual spinners. You've got this great area that nobody wants to leave if they're waiting in the queue. But I love what they've done. And by opening it in phases, they sort of set a blueprint for how to open future lands. Like Pandora, it's going to most likely open in phases as well, simply because New Fantasyland showed that you could open in phases and be a rousing success. I love what they've done with it.
Yeah, I really like that last point about Pandora. I think it Wow. I think it set a good example. Michael, New Fantasyland, hit, miss, meh.
There's no way it's not a hit. Take a look at what was going on before they opened New Fantasyland. You had pinpoints at Dumbo. You had pinpoints on Cinderella's castle. You had pinpoints on the Barnstormer and Big Thunder Mountain, where you needed to expand the facilities to places where you needed 2 Dumbos, where you needed another 5-star dining experience, where you needed more bathrooms, where you needed more dark rides, where you needed more areas for the kids to actually play around in. You needed the area in which to expand. And when you get that big, you need to actually move your elbows and be able to provide alternatives. Ariel's Grotto was just sitting there. The 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was just an empty water lot. that was not doing anything. Let's actually do something with it. Let's give people more rides, and let's have them do more things that they can try to fit in a 24-hour span.
The most points you got, and people are going to think this is ridiculous, however, we've done an entire top 10 on it, was the bathrooms. That's such an underrated addition in New Fantasyland. You got 2 completely clean bathroom facilities, and they're nice, and a great idea there. I see we are running a bit short on time, so I'm going to cut a couple of these out and cherry pick here. We're going to go with you, Eric. Hit Miss Meh. The upcoming expansion of Wilderness Lodge / Boulder Ridge / I think it had some sort of creek name too in it.
For me, this is a total meh. The increasing capacity, really, it's being done to increase DVC, and I've mentioned this a million times on this network. DVC is the theme park revenue hamster wheel that has to continue to run in its circle, because the second that they do not continue to expand DVC, the theme park revenue takes this disastrous hit in that fiscal quarter. So they'll continue to do this, and now what they're going to do is they're doing 2 things. They're increasing DVC, and then they're reducing actual hotel denominators, because they're reducing the number of available rooms at the Wilderness Lodge. So it's a numbers game. It's financial trickery, and and they're doing it at a resort that has a solid following, but it's not like they're doing this at one of the resorts. They're not doing it at the Contemporary. They're not doing it at the Grand Floridian. They're talking about the Contemporary. They're going to then tear down the other garden wing to build another Bay Lake Tower. So they're doing it at the Wilderness Lodge the same reason that they did it at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. They overbuilt their deluxe resorts, and now they have to find a way to make it look as though those deluxe resorts are at a fuller capacity. The easiest way to do that is with DVC. It increases theme park revenue and decreases the overall number of rooms that are available. It's really sort of nerdy in finance, but it's masterful on their part. But for the guests, it really doesn't do anything.
All right, Michael, why don't you chime in on the expansions coming to Wilderness Lodge? Hit Miss Meh.
I gotta go meh.
Yeah.
It's just because they're trying to add to a deluxe resort, and we're seeing that there is a lot of other resorts out there that are providing a pretty good experience as well. There are ones in the Port Orleans. There are one in the All-Star resorts that are just great to experience. Just seeing the ones just expanding on the deluxe resorts, you're not exactly appealing to the most amount of people that you want to try and bring to the parks. You want to try to expand some of those more accessible options, so that way you maybe even give some DVC options to those kind of resorts, so that you can get more DVC and keep the money wheel turning. But you want to see it more as not just the rich get richer.
I think what they're waiting for is to try and figure out a way that they can bring in a moderate, although we've heard the rumors right here on our own website that they will be adding to one of the moderates soon, and not upset current DVC owners by a lower price point and things like that. So we'll see what happens. Ashley, your turn. Good. What do you want to say?
Well, if it's going to be about points, then at least just give them more time in those moderate resorts. So that way you can spend, instead of spending 4 days in the Grand Floridian or the Wilderness Lodge, spend a full week at the Port Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, that's already kind of where we're at. All right, let's go with Ashley. Hit Miss Math, the upcoming expansion of Wilderness Lodge / Boulder Ridge.
I'm kind of torn between a hit and a meh. I think Wilderness Lodge is a beautiful resort. I think it definitely needs a little TLC, though. And so I think the fact that it's going to get renovated is going to be fantastic for the resort itself. As far as the actual DVC, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the rooms will be great. I don't know if it's really necessary, though. Although, to counter Eric's point about the capacity and the deluxe resorts being overbooked, I know I actually worked housekeeping at Contemporary, and our numbers were always pretty solid as far as being booked. I think we always hovered, even when it got slow, somewhere between 90 and 96% capacity. And that was excluding Bay Lake. Bay Lake was its own capacity. So I think, I don't know that they're necessarily overbooked, but I think it's the demand. I think people want to stay at those resorts. And I think people want to have DVC.
Contemporary and Wilderness Lodge are not equal comparisons, though.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true what she's saying. I get what she's saying.
I do too. I just think that I agree with what she's saying in principle. I just don't think that you sort of compare the flagship with the Wilderness Lodge.
Well, no, but I mean, you can't say that they overbuilt Contemporary though, because I don't think they did. It's not like half the rooms are sitting empty. They're meeting their capacity goals.
But they're constantly closing entire wings of resorts for soft good refurbishments just so that those rooms are out of their inventory so that they can say they're at 80+% capacity. That happens at all moderates, all values, the Wilderness Lodge and the Animal Kingdom Lodge, which are deluxes. That constantly happens at those resorts just so that they can say that they're at 80 to 90%
Eric's
capacity.
getting very inside baseball and utilizing some of his other ventures to make the point. No, it's fine. I understand. Ashley, anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay, cool. All right, so right now we have Eric with 90 points and a guaranteed spot in the final. So that'll be Eric in the final round with 90. Ashley, you're going in there with 50. Michael, 38. So that would be a $13 donation would send you into the final round.
13, you got it.
And Ashley, you can then go ahead and match that if you would like. So there's Michael's $13. By the way, we're at 11% of the goal, and oh my God, $666 have now been raised. You're the devil, Bobby Boucher. Ashley, a $2 donation would put you back in.
Oh wait, I gotta get.
I was ready last. Don't you do it, Michael?
Oh no, it's all for the tots, you two.
That's right.
Do it for the tots.
I'll add in another 12, and it'll be a full 25. That gets me into the final round, right?
I mean, Ashley can give 10, and she would be in, and then 12, and then 12 would put you in, and then we could have a three-way dance for the final round. Just saying, possibilities are there.
Three-way dance.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was a wrestling announcer. That's what I do. By God. That's Mike Batista's music. Waiting to see.
Batista.
Batista. Yeah, let's see here. We're reloading. Awfully exciting. Awfully exciting. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen here. $666. I'd love to get off that number. Oh, man. Hey, 20 people listening. Hi, 20 people. How's everybody doing? Make sure you donate. We're here raising money for Toys for Tots. We all love the tots.
As soon as she's done.
Let me see here.
I'm going to do a freaking Price is Right here.
Ashley has donated $25 and guaranteed herself a spot in the final round. That gives her 75 points. Michael, $12 gets you into the final round.
And already done. Refresh.
All right, so that gives Michael $12, and he's in the final round. So there's 12 in addition to. So you went to 51, and then 12. That makes it 63. So Eric's in the lead with 90 points. Ashley has 75. Michael has 63. As we head into the final round, you guys got a lot of ground to make up on Eric. In our face-off round, we will be playing Practically Perfect in every way. This is one of our newer games. Our final three panelists, will be tasked with summing up 45 years of Walt Disney World into one tiny thing that represents it perfectly. That tiny thing will be an attraction. So, panelists, what one attraction best sums up all 45 years of Walt Disney World? I'll give you guys a couple seconds to think about it. Eric, you have the lead, so you have the disadvantage of going first and telling everyone your idea before. So let me know when you're ready, Eric. Yo, be a bad time to lose Eric.
No, it wouldn't.
I'm sorry.
Let me know.
I'm sorry.
Let me know when you're ready to go.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm
Are
trying
you
to.
going to try and get on the attraction?
Well, you know what? I was trying to get over because I think for me, what represents the 45 years of the resort better than anything else is it's a small world. While there are so many things that are similar, everything is different. So it really does. It starts with just the idea of something small and intimate, the Magic Kingdom. But as you go room through room, it grows and builds, and it will never stop. You can go on that attraction, and it's a circular attraction. So potentially you could be on the attraction, and I've been on it for 45 minutes stuck before. You can be on that attraction forever. And while I didn't ride It's a Small World for 4 years because I was stuck on it one night for 45 minutes, that attraction, just like the resort, goes on forever. It never stops, and it will always do its best to continue to improve. For me, it's an original attraction. It's an attraction that was built for Disneyland because Walt Disney wanted to make sure that as the Majesty begins. Walt Disney wanted to make sure that there was always something for children by helping UNICEF, and I think that It's a Small World will always accomplish that.
That was really beautiful, Eric. Now, if you can go ahead and mute so the rest of the panelists can talk. All right, Ash.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. It just as you were ending, it was crescendoing. That's great. Ashley, go ahead. Let me know what you think your one attraction that perfectly sums up Walt Disney World.
I think for me, it's the safari. And solely because, one of Walt's ones that he wanted to make work from the very beginning was the Jungle Cruise. And he wanted the live animals and to have people be able to experience that. And I think just going from the Jungle Cruise at Magic Kingdom and then getting on the safari in Africa, it really is just the culmination of everything that, he always pushed the Imagineers to do better and go bigger and never completely shelve something, always circle back around to it and find a way to make it work. And I think that really sums up all the innovation, all of the magic. I mean, you still have people that go on there and, it's kind of spoiled the magic for us. We understand how they do it with the animals and, keeping the lions away, but it is so immersive. I mean, you really feel like you're in Africa, and that's what Walt was going for from the beginning. And so I think for me, that perfectly sums up the culmination of 45 years.
That was beautiful. Michael, your turn.
You.
Spaceship Earth. Now think about this. It is this landmark of Epcot. The idea that brought the whole Florida project to the reason why they wanted to build it in Florida, the blessing of size, the advancement of technology, how they really wanted to create a whole city around it. And they have done so with Celebration. Let's get into Walt Disney was a futurist. You got to remember that. All the ideas in it. The whole Progress City was built for Epcot. It was the whole idea of what it was supposed to be. It became this theme park. Right. Epcot became this theme park. We had people, and it shows the progress of technology going from all of those 45 years and years beyond. And what happens now? It gets redone. It gets overlaid. It has us remembering the nostalgic times of what we knew. The old music, the Spaceship Earth, Tomorrow's Child is one of those iconic music portions of the Disneyland world. And it also provides the memes that we always have. So you will always be thanking the Phoenicians. It encompasses every part that we do as Disney bloggers, as Disney commentators. It is the symbol of Walt's legacy. It is a symbol of what's going on right now in a theme park attraction. Spaceship Earth, give me 4 for that golf ball.
Oh. All right, that brings to a close our final round. Michael, with your impassioned plea, you actually won the final round with 13 points. Ashley came in with 10. Eric came in with 7.
No, I already gave money.
All right, just letting it fly. I see it. You said Disneyland World, which was entertaining to say the least. But with Eric's gigantic donation that gives him 97 points, Ashley 85 points, Michael, you have 76. You have a couple minutes if you would like to give yourself a victory.
Patrick, refresh.
Yeah, okay. That gives Eric 147 points on the victory, who is a very generous Eric. Eric Glancy, I'm going to give the double boot there. Michael and Ashley both headed down into the pit of despair. Single leg drop kick for each, Jeff Hardy style. And any last words for either of you?
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for being
And
here.
a lot of money.
Well, you should.
It's for the kids.
It's for the tots, baby. All right, Eric, 30 uninterrupted seconds of a meet and greet starts now.
I love doing this show every year. I simply love it because it really is a lot of fun. It's spirited, and it really does. It gives it in a competitive way a reason to donate. And I sort of go overboard every year, but it's sort of become a tradition, and I hope that I continue to be gainfully employed so that I can continue to do this each year. I love it. But most importantly for me this year, we're at Walt Disney World this week celebrating my daughter's 8th birthday. Happy birthday, Mia. I love you. I hope we have a blast for the next 8 days.
Woo. I got sound effects like that. I'd like to thank all of our panelists, especially Eric and his generosity for this episode of Around the Hub. Thanks to Michael and Ashley and Ben. We'll go waving on by as they're in the pit of despair as we're on Victory Highway. That brings to a close this episode of Around the Hub. Thank you all for being a part of this show, and I'm sure the marathon will continue shortly as we all head over to Skype. I'm going to let you guys head over to Skype. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give everybody a tour of my messy office. So thank you very much, and continue listening, continue donating. We'll be back in a second. I'll give you a quick, I know Jeff wanted a tour. All right, see you guys.
Hub.
Hub. Oh, yeah. Eric, say hub.
Hub.
Go.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay, so real quick while everybody moves over to Skype, this is my LaSalle Explorer pennant. I have an old Red Sox pennant that is A-Rod slapping the ball out of Bronson Arroyo's hand. Bronson Arroyo signed it. It says Turning Point. Over here is a stack of pops I need to organize. I have Joe Montana, a championship fantasy football trophy, retro Star Wars lunchbox. All my Disney Blu-rays are there. It'd be really hard to read the titles. My Funko Spider-Man box hat. That is my wife and I's. One of our bridesmaids made this for us for our wedding. Over there is Rene Rancourt. That's the first time he sang the national anthem after Boston Marathon bombings, and he signed it Boston Strong. Those are the Bambiners that I'll be giving out later on. Some more pops and about 1 billion Disney Infinity figures. So hopefully, so close, too close. I got my Spider-Gwen shirt on. Hopefully everybody will be headed back over to Skype. Jason, let me know when I'm clear and I can you can transfer it back over to Skype.
You're clear, Patrick.
All right. See you guys in a minute.